Some people make one decision and everything changes. One day, one choice. Suddenly, they're unrecognizable. What separates them from you? You've been planning to change for months, maybe years. You understand the concepts, yet nothing moves. You remain exactly where you were, waiting for the perfect moment that keeps receding into the future. Here's what you're actually waiting for: permission. Some external signal that now is the time, that you're ready, that success is probable. That signal never comes. While you delay, other people with less knowledge and worse circumstances are already living what you keep postponing. Because they decided. Completely. Today we're examining why you struggle to decide, what happens in your brain when you delay, and the exact process Napoleon Hill identified in people who made decisions that transformed their lives. Near the end, you'll write your definite decision using Hill's protocol. If you're driving, save that part for later. You make dozens of choices daily: what to eat, what to wear, which email to answer first. These feel like decisions, but they're preferences, low-stakes selections that require no commitment and carry no consequences. Real decision operates differently. It has weight. It closes doors. It commits you to a direction you cannot casually reverse. Most people spend years in perpetual consideration. They think about what they should do, plan what they might do, imagine what they could do if circumstances align differently. This feels productive because thinking creates the illusion of progress. But consideration without commitment generates nothing except exhaustion. Your brain treats unmade decisions as open loops. Each open decision drains cognitive resources continuously until resolved. Every time your mind returns to the question of whether to act, it burns glucose processing the same variables again. This is why chronic indecision feels depleting. You're running the same mental simulation dozens of times daily, consuming energy without producing forward movement. Napoleon Hill spent 2 decades interviewing the most successful individuals of his era for his book, Think and Grow Rich. He found that high achievers made decisions rapidly and changed them slowly. Meanwhile, people who struggled made decisions slowly and changed them frequently. The difference was the capacity for definite commitment. Every time you fail to decide, you strengthen neural pathways associated with avoidance. Your brain learns that when faced with meaningful choice, delay is the response. This becomes automatic. You encounter opportunity requiring commitment, and before conscious thought engages, your limbic system activates the familiar pattern. Consider longer, gather more information, wait for better conditions. You already know what needs to happen. You're unwilling to accept what decision requires. It requires abandoning comfort. It requires being misunderstood by people who prefer your predictable version. It requires risking public failure after public commitment. So you construct elaborate justifications for delay, telling yourself you're being strategic when you're being afraid. How long will you allow this to continue? How many more opportunities will close while you're still weighing whether to act? Time doesn't pause for your deliberation. The window available today narrows tomorrow. The position you were considering gets filled. The market you were entering becomes saturated. The person you wanted to connect with moves on. You've been preparing to act for so long that preparation has become the goal. You research, plan, optimize, and then reconsider. Each cycle feels like progress toward action, but you are moving in circles, not forward. The research becomes procrastination. The planning becomes avoidance. What if the information you're missing can only be learned through action, not analysis? The version of you that succeeds already exists. That version decided months or years ago. Every day you delay, the gap between who you are and who you could be widens. You have the capability, but perhaps you lack the commitment. Let me show you what happens neurologically when you fail to decide. When you encounter a decision requiring commitment, your prefrontal cortex attempts to evaluate the choice. It weighs potential outcomes, considers variables, calculates probabilities. This is the conscious deliberation you experience as thinking it through. Simultaneously, your limbic system scans for threat. Commitment registers as threat because commitment eliminates optionality. Once you decide, you cannot easily reverse course without psychological and social cost. Your limbic system interprets this as danger and generates anxiety. Your prefrontal cortex has limited processing capacity. When you allow decisions to remain open for days or weeks, you force it to re-engage with the same problem repeatedly. Each time drains more resources. Eventually, decision fatigue sets in. Your capacity for rational evaluation deteriorates. You default to the path of least resistance, which is always inaction. Meanwhile, your basal ganglia records the pattern. When faced with meaningful decision, you delay. Do this enough times, and delay becomes your automatic response. You encounter opportunity, and before you consciously consider it, your brain has already activated the avoidance routine. Hill observed this in the people he studied. Unsuccessful individuals operated from hesitation as default. They required extensive deliberation before committing to anything significant. This felt like careful analysis to them. But what Hill recognized was that prolonged deliberation was fear disguised as prudence. Successful people did something different. They made decisions quickly because they understood that perfect information never arrives. They accepted that some uncertainty was inherent to any meaningful choice. Once they decided, they committed their full cognitive resources to execution rather than endless reconsideration. The neurological reality is this. Your brain cannot distinguish between a genuinely bad decision and a good decision that triggers anxiety because it requires commitment. Both generate the same fear response. The only way to know what you're facing is to act. But if you wait for the fear to subside before acting, you'll wait forever. Fear subsides after commitment, never before. Napoleon Hill identified a specific pattern in people who made decisions that transformed their lives. A definite decision eliminates backup plans and accepts whatever consequences follow. Most people never do this. They keep safety nets, which splits their focus between commitment and exit strategy. When you make a definite decision, your relationship to obstacles changes immediately. Before, obstacles were reasons to reconsider. After, they're just problems to solve. The decision is made. Now you execute. Here's Hill's exact process. First, define the specific outcome you're committing to. What precisely will you have accomplished? If you cannot state your commitment in one clear sentence, you need more clarity about what you're deciding. Second, identify what you're willing to sacrifice. Every decision requires exchange. What are you prepared to surrender? Comfort? Time? Connections that no longer align? Your old identity? If your answer is nothing, you're not serious about the goal. Third, establish a specific deadline. Decisions without deadlines remain wishes. When exactly will you have completed this? A date on a calendar. This creates urgency and removes the luxury of infinite preparation. Map out these first 3 moves. You do not need to know the entire path to completion, but you need to know what happens today, this week, this month. 3 concrete steps with timelines attached. Write everything in definite language, the specific outcome, the deadline, what you're sacrificing. This all leads into the fact that writing forces clarity. This is crucial. Vague internal wishes become external commitments. You can lie to yourself in thought, but paper exposes the truth. This is why written commitment outperforms mental commitment by massive margins. Mental decisions remain fluid. You can revise them moment to moment without accountability. Written decisions create friction. Changing them requires confronting the physical evidence of your original commitment. Hill found this was the method used by every successful person he studied. They reinforced their major decisions daily until those decisions became part of their automatic thought patterns. They impressed the decision onto their subconscious through relentless repetition until following through required less conscious effort. Most people skip this next step. They nod along, feel motivated, but then do nothing. You're not most people, and we are going to prove that together, right here. Get some paper and a pen. It should be a tactile experience, not just a note in your phone. Pause here if you need to, and let's get started. At the top, write today's date, and below that, write my definite decision. The first line should read, I will, and complete that sentence with your specific commitment. One clear statement. Next line, completion date, and put an actual date, month, day, year. Next line, what I'm willing to sacrifice, and list 3 specific things. Write them out clearly. After that, we will identify the first 3 actions. Make sure to number them. Be specific with the 3 actions and include timelines. Write them out now. Once this is complete, read it from the top with conviction, like you truly mean what you're saying. Then at the bottom of the page, write, I will read this twice daily. I will take the first action today. And of course, last, you must sign it confidently with your name. Put this paper somewhere you'll see it tomorrow morning. Your nightstand, your bathroom mirror, somewhere unavoidable. Before you sleep tonight, complete the first item on your list. Even if it takes 5 minutes, do it today. That action tells your subconscious this time is different. The difference between people who transform and people who remain stuck is one action, and that is decision. Definite decision made despite uncertainty. You've spent years accumulating information. At some point, consumption must end and execution must begin. Today is that transition point. Napoleon Hill's research revealed one differentiating factor between success and failure: the capacity to make definite decisions rapidly and maintain them absolutely. Decide what you want, commit fully, act immediately, persist until complete. If you made it this far, tell me in the comments what you decided. Feel free to state your actual commitment. There is no judgment here. As we conclude, I want to say thank you for listening. I will see you on the next one.